Hey everybody, welcome to episode 5 of Bonafide Business Talks. I'm here with Ashley Duckett. Is that how you pronounce that correctly?
Yes.
Okay. With INSURE, and today we're going to give you a little bit of insight into the insurance world. So Ashley, thank you for being on episode 5 with me.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you got into the insurance industry?
So I was born and raised in upstate New York. In 2011, I decided to venture down to Southwest Florida, kind of started my life over. I did some traveling while I was down, when I first moved down here. I got into insurance just kind of on a whim. I had been gallivanting around the world working event management, and I was never here. So I figured, what better way to settle down to buy a house, and and as I was going through the home buying process, kind of got my wheels turning of, okay, so real estate, insurance, mortgage, and I was really looking for a career to settle down into. I've always been in sales. I've loved sales. I love working with people. I have a background in education as well, and I like educating people. So that's kind of how I landed in the insurance of what can I do that I can make a difference, and I can teach people about something that's very important, in hope that they can understand and see the value in it. So that's kind of how I landed in insurance. I started off in Medicare sales. I enjoyed that, but it wasn't enough for me. I like to be challenged. I like something different every day. So that's when I started looking into property and casualty. I got my property and casualty license and worked for a local insurance agent for quite a few years, and started knowing nothing and learned very quickly, and spent a lot of time and dedication learning. And then here recently I just decided to purchase a franchise with INSURE and start my own business, which has been great.
What made you decide to go from working for somebody else in the industry to starting your own? Was it the need to want to do more, or was it the simple entrepreneurial, wanting to make it your own, or did you have a vision that you weren't able to really follow elsewhere?
So I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My grandfather started his own trucking company, and he successfully ran that for 50 plus years. My brother now runs that company. My mother owned her own business. My father owned his own business. So it's kind of just
It was in your DNA, yeah. From the start, you were going to do it.
I would have been the redheaded stepchild of the family if I didn't eventually own my own business. And that was kind of my goal. When I was hired to work for this local agent, he said, "What's your 5-year plan?" And I said, "In 5 years, I'm going to open my own agency." And I did it in 4.5. So I really, that was my goal from the beginning, was to get into a position to where I could open my own agency.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't do it without the support of my husband. He's been a saint throughout this whole process.
It's not easy being a business owner.
It's not easy being a business owner. I don't think it's any easier, and I'm sure your wife could speak to this, being the spouse of a business owner, because it comes with a whole another set of stressors.
There's no such thing as clocking in and out.
No, there is no such thing as clocking in and out. And we have, a little boy. He'll be 3 in December. So, the balance of home life and work life, running a business, it takes a lot. It takes a team, and I'm very lucky that.
How do you balance that? Do you have because I'm very OCD, so I tried to actually structure a plan of, this is family time, this is work time, I need to do this each day.
And how'd that work out for you?
It works out great for me, not so much for everybody else. But how do you go about making sure you have balance? Is there certain things that you look for, triggers, flags, times that you're like, if I'm not doing this, then I'm leaving, my family hanging, or I'm leaving my business hanging? Like, how do you decide when and where?
I'd be lying if I wasn't saying I'm still trying to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it really is a balance, and things in family are always changing. Things get thrown at you. You have to get out of town for a special event, or, something comes up, your child's sick. So it's just a balance. And being my own business owner, I have a lot more flexibility than I did when I was a salary employee, which is nice, but that missed time during business hours, I do have to make up. So, and my husband understands that, if I have to come in on a Saturday for a couple of hours, that's where I make it up. And I'm lucky enough that my clients are typically pretty flexible and understanding that if something does come up that they can reach me, on my cell anytime or by email. So
I was going to say, you recently did a trip, and she's actually my insurance agent, and we're on the phone and laptop in the car while traveling, setting up my policy. So
yes.
There's always time to make for business. One of the things I wanted to ask you is, if somebody out there is working in the industry like you did, like you set out a goal that within 5 years you wanted to open your own agency. But what if someone's starting out, they don't know if they want to open their own agency or if they just want to settle down and work for somebody. With getting into it, what do you recommend people look for, or how do they find their comfort zone within the insurance world? You went from, you said, was it Medicare sales, into the property and casualty. Like, how did you make that transition, or how would someone know where to find their niche at?
Well, I kind of did it on a leap of faith. I was lucky enough to find somebody to take a risk on me, considering I didn't know anything about the property and casualty world. And then I just dedication and perseverance and really had to make sure that I was successful because this person took a risk on me. So that was just my personal battle.
Yeah, if someone doesn't take the risk, what do they do?
If somebody doesn't take the risk, then, unfortunately, I feel like you're holding yourself back. And running your own business isn't for everyone, and there's growing pains, and you're learning all the time. But, there's a lot of different options out there. I was fortunate enough to fall into a position that I work for one of the fastest growing franchises in the state, and we're in the process of going national, but makes it financially affordable to do that, because when you go into business for yourself and you go into opening, whether it be a franchise or an independent, there is a lot of cost that goes with that, along with getting appointments and finding somebody to take a risk on you to write business for them, expecting that you know what you're doing. So finding the right business model for yourself. This business model was exactly what I was looking for, which made it really easy for me to make that decision. But it's not for everyone. So, if you're in the position of you're working for someone else and you want to do something for yourself and reap the benefit of being your own boss, then don't hold back. Do it. You may have little regrets in the beginning, the financial aspect of it, because you're not going to make money right off the bat, and anybody that's currently in insurance knows that it takes time to make some money, but the long-term reward. And my reward to myself is knowing that every client that I interact with is either saving themselves money, but they're walking away with the coverage that they need. And that's one thing that I can't stress enough. There's too many, I won't say holes, but there's not enough required coverage in the state of Florida to protect drivers. So essentially, you need to insure to protect yourself and your family. So that's my big thing, is making sure that people actually understand their insurance coverage, how it works for them in the event of a loss. Whether it be your personal auto insurance, your homeowner's insurance, renter's insurance.
It's a very personable industry.
It is.
I got to the point with you where when you've done my policies, I'm like, all right, if that's what you recommend, then that's what we'll do.
It's building that trusted relationship.
Knowing that you know what you're doing, and I'll worry about what I know how to do. You do what you know how to do.
You pay your bill. I take care of the rest.
You make sure everything is in place when it needs to be.
And really, when you're looking at your insurance, whether you speak with me or you speak with your own personal agent, make your agent work for you. That's their job. Make sure that they can actually sit down and explain line by line.
And what kind of questions should you be asking? How do you put an agent on the spot to make sure that they are who they say they are and are capable of taking care of you?
My biggest is, how much bodily injury liability do I have, and how much do I need? Insurance is expensive. We all know that. Nobody wants to be insurance poor. It's probably my least favorite bill to pay, believe it or not.
And you're in the industry.
And I'm in the industry, but it's important. You want to make sure that you have enough liability coverage to protect your assets, whether it be...
Is there a formula for that, or is there just a certain amount that you think is a good standard based on what you know?
Yeah, so when you talk to somebody about, hey, how much money do you have, that's not really a conversation that can go very, it could go good or bad. Insurance is offered at different limits. So would you say your net worth is north or south of $300,000? If it's north, is it north or south of $500,000? And if you're getting up there, then you need to start looking at excess liability and umbrella policy. Some people may know it as. But making sure that that bodily injury liability is a number that's enough to protect everything that you've worked hard for. What people don't understand is if you don't carry bodily injury liability, which you're not required to do in Florida, that you can repercussion, or there's consequences for that in the event that you cause an accident and cause injury to someone. They can subpoena your paycheck, they can come after any assets that you have that aren't protected. So it's very important that you do carry that. The other thing that I would recommend people asking about is uninsured motorist coverage. Especially here in Florida, there are a lot of people that don't carry insurance or don't carry enough insurance, liability-wise, to protect you and your family. So uninsured motorist coverage would come into play if somebody was to cause severe injury to you in an accident and they had no liability coverage or not enough liability coverage to cover the injuries to you or your family, that your uninsured motorist coverage would kick in to protect you financially, for your losses.
Okay. Now, on the situation of We Insure here, your agency, I know because we've talked a lot that you're in a growing position right now. We were just talking before we were on camera about you potentially looking for somebody. Where are you at with that, or what type of person are you looking for to bring on board? What does it take?
I'm looking for a self-motivator. I don't like babysitting. I was in management for quite a few years. I had great staff that worked for me, but somebody that's a self-starter, somebody that can have a goal and want to exceed that goal, not meet that goal.
So they're doing sales, or what's
yes.
the, okay.
So be a sales position, being able to go out and network within the community to build relationships, to obviously build referring relationships, whether it be with realtors or auto dealerships, to be able to go out and talk to people and want to take themselves to that next level of, I'm not just an insurance producer, I am a go-getter. I want that drive, that hunger, the need for that sale. Somebody that's organized and dedicated, preferably bilingual. We, live in a very diverse community here in Southwest Florida, so some of your.
Is there any requirements on paper, certifications, things
licensing?
That you need?
Yes.
Okay.
There, an agent's license would be preferred if you're not licensed, and you have that strong sales background, and that.
You'll take a risk on somebody?
I would take a risk on someone, yes. Somebody took a risk on me, so I, would only be right for me to take a risk on the right person.
So if somebody out there right now watching wants to talk to you more about that, how would they get in touch with you?
You can give me a call or email. My office number is 239-320-8018, and my email address is ashley.duckett@weinsuregroup.com.
And we will put all of that on the bottom of the screen for you, so that way you guys can write it down. That's pretty awesome that you've gotten to the point. How long have you actually been open?
I opened my office June 17th.
June 17th and already expanding. That's pretty awesome. One last thing, for a homeowner out there or a car owner. Now, let's stick with homes on this one because we are in Florida, hurricane season, those types of things. When it comes to coverage and dealing with insurance, I know a lot of people have dealt with nightmares with Irma. There's still claims going on. Is there any advice that you have for someone to be prepared, or to how to deal with the insurance company when something catastrophic like that happens?
Well, the first advice that I would give is know your coverage and know your policy. If you don't understand your policy, you don't know your deductibles, you don't know how your insurance works, the first thing you want to do is speak with your agent. You even give me a call, I'll do a complimentary review of your policy.
I was just going to ask you that. What if you have an agent that's MIA and just loves to take your money and never be around?
Knowing your policy, knowing your coverage, and how it's going to work for you. There are a lot of optional coverages on homeowners policies, and in order to have that coverage, your policy would have to be endorsed for that coverage. Water backup being one, screen enclosures, hurricane deductibles can be high. There are a lot of companies that have made adjustments to offer lower hurricane deductibles, especially after Irma, because people were not aware of their deductibles and how high they were. There's also deductible reimbursement plans available out there.
Really?
Yes. Essentially, it's an additional insurance policy that will cover your hurricane deductible in the event of a loss, so you don't have that out-of-pocket expense.
Awesome. Slide me one of those real quick. I'm going to take an opportunity to put you on the spot here. This is something that we have just rolled out at Bonafide Measurements. We're referring to it as an AIP. Basically, it's an asset inventory package, and since I've got an insurance person in front of me, I figured I'd put you on the spot to ask you what your thoughts are on a homeowner being prepared with something like this.
This is a great opportunity for a homeowner to know exactly what they have. We were fortunate enough here in Southwest Florida that when Irma actually came to Lee County, that it did damage, some more severe than others, but if Irma had a direct hit to Lee County, there would have been a lot of homes that would be wiped out completely, whether it had been from water or from the hurricane itself. So having a program like this is great because it will allow you to categorize everything in your home to know what you had, so that way if your home was completely taken away, that you would know exactly what your losses were, because when the insurance company comes in, they're going to say, all right, what did you have? What was the value of it? Where was it? And all these things. And when you're already dealing with a loss, that's a lot of stress and emotional, tension that you're dealing with. And to think, right on the spot, okay, I had this, I had that, I had this, and this will make that stress go away.
A lot easier.
Yes.
Now, in your opinion, because I know that it's probably across the board, do you think that something like this actually will help homeowners speed up their claim process by having everything organized like that?
I believe yes.
With being able to get the information over in a timely manner, obviously. So that's awesome. Like I said, Bonafide just rolled this out. It's called an AIP. If you want any other information on it, please email me, comment below, we'll get you over the information, or you can reach out to Ashley whenever you're talking to her about your insurance. She'll have some of this information in her office as well to pass along. I greatly appreciate you being willing to come on and share some information with us in the insurance world. If anybody else has any questions for Ashley, please do not hesitate to email or call her. Again, we'll have her information at the beginning and end of the video, as well as on the bottom of the screen right now. Please find us on YouTube, subscribe, Bonafide Business Talks. This was episode 5 with Ashley Duckett, owner of We Insure Insurance Agency. Thank you so much. You have a great day, Ashley.
Thank you.